Hey guys, Tinker Tailor here today, bringing you another part of this city build series. So we're doing an industrial apartment today, and this is probably the longest video I've done so far. I feel like the hotel build was probably a bit long as well, but I probably cut out large chunks of it, so we did speed that one up quite a bit. This one was, I think, 4 hours, 4 hours and 15 minutes of raw footage or something like that. Um, and I do part of it on stream, part of it sort of just on my own. So on stream, I do the layout, I do entry level, and then I do first apartment, which is for a sort of like a young dude who's just moved out on his own. He's a little bit into gaming. He wants to try and like not prove himself, but he wants to be neat-ish. He doesn't want to be like sterile, but he doesn't want to be um messy and gross and whatever, he wants to be seen as adult. So like yeah, he's still game and whatever, but he's an adult, of course he can. Um but yeah, he wants his apartment to look like he has his life together. Um which he does. He does have his life together. He's just very conscious of the fact that he wants to appear that way. Um and he's even thought a little bit about how he's furnishing his apartment and what it means, like what it looks like. And okay, if I get really junky furniture, people aren't gonna take it seriously as if I get some semi-decent. Whereas if I get something like I said, semi-decent, people will be like, oh, well, he's just moved out. So of course he's just got like a few things or whatever. He hasn't got like the whole setup and whatnot. So that yeah, he's very for some reason conscious about that. And he's still got some things in his apartment. Like he's got some posters that he's had since he was a kid and whatever. But he's like, I'm allowed to have things that I like. You know what? I'm gonna have these things I like. Um. So yeah, that one was the first one that I did, and I really enjoyed that one. It was kind of fun trying to get inside the head of someone who, like, I'm not a young gamer guy who's just moved out on his own and wants to prove himself. That's not me. But it is still quite interesting to get inside of someone else's mindset. But well and truly, before we get to that, I spend forever and a day, I guess, trying to make the stairs work for me. I really could not figure out for the life of me how to get the stairs to work the way I wanted them to. There's probably a way I could have done them to get it to work, but I've been having some problems with my game recently. I think I need to update or repair my game or something. I need to do something to fix it because it's just running a little bit slow and probably to do with all the CC I've been using. So I think I'm going to have a look at some of the CC builds I've got and like pre-record a bunch of things for it so I can delete that. Like delete them in the background and hopefully my game starts to run a bit better. I'm not positive on that. It might also be that I have several big builds in this save file. Like I've got the Pokemon um townhouse in there. It's in Ciudad Enamorada. I'm always saying that one wrong, I feel. And then this one here is in World Before. Um High School Years World. I'm terrible with the names and the packs and stuff like that. Like I just give them my own name. Like the Ciudad Enamorada pack, that's the Fall in Love pack or Get to Love pack. Um it's just what it is. Like I don't remember the names. I'm terrible. And in fact, I think I'm gonna add that. I have a stream bingo over on Twitch, and I think I'm gonna add that to my stream bingo to be like, I get the name wrong. Um, because I do it almost every stream. So yeah, like I was saying before, this was done on stream. Um, I had just finished building an ice cream parlor, so I was like, I have time and motivation, so why don't I jump in here and work on this build for a little bit? And I'm really glad I did because um I got quite a lot of it done last night, and then I was able to finish the rest of it off this morning. Uh which was absolutely um today is my major building day, so realistically I wanted to have a lot more builds done today. Already 15 minutes away from when this build's supposed to go live. Oh, sorry, this video is supposed to go live, and I'm only recording it now, so we're a little behind schedule. But I have been somewhat productive. Like I said, finished this build, edited this video, actually had food for once. I'm terrible with eating. I'm absolutely terrible. I'm just not motivated to if it's breakfast and lunch, if it's not easy. But with dinner, I'm like, yeah, no, that's fine. I'll cook. Um, like tonight we're having uh like deconstructed burritos, I guess. I don't know if I'm gonna do the burritos like the wraps are actually lettuce or if I'm just gonna do them deconstructed, but something like that. Something along those vibes. So I guess you could loosely call it a burrito. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be good. It'll be good. But what I was saying was, yeah, I actually ordered Subway today. Which I know Subway's not the healthiest, but it's also not the worst. So I'm doing this balancing act. That's sort of my preference with my, I don't want to say diet, like I'm on a diet, but my diet is in what I consume on a day-to-day basis. Is that I just try and make healthier options. So again, not necessarily on a diet, just being aware of what I eat. Um, and that's why like I don't do milk in my tea anymore. The other reason why is like it, I don't know, it just made my tummy feel yuck. But um, yeah, having a no milk in my tea and either one sugar or a little bit of honey instead of massive scoop. It's just small things like that that I found have made me feel better. Like years and years ago, I made the choice to no longer drink soft drink, and that was a huge thing I noticed that like I get really affected by the sugar in it. I don't know if it's just me or if everybody else feels this, but when I have sugar, um, I crash really hard. Same with coffee. I've tried it so many times. I do not like it. It makes me crash so bad, and I don't get it. Like people try it and they're like, "Oh, I feel really energetic and good." And then I feel like I have had like giving what's that movie? I think it's called Hoodwinked, where the squirrel has the coffee and then it just is like bouncing off the walls, and then yeah, major crash afterwards, like just immediately afterwards. So I just I can't hold a thought. I don't know. I find it really difficult to speak and think straight. It's just like I'm thinking too fast for my brain to latch onto a thought. Which I mean that's normal, but it's increased even more when I have coffee. So I don't know. If you drink coffee, let me know how it affects you because I don't know if that's normal. I don't know if that's how everybody feels. But from my understanding, most people feel like they're not dead, I guess. Like they feel awake to a degree. I much prefer tea, slower acting caffeine. It doesn't rile me up and make me feel as wired, I guess. And I don't feel as tired afterwards. So it's kind of like a slow waking, but also a slow letdown, I guess. And I much prefer that. Just I don't know, it feels much better. But anyway, the whole soft drink thing. When I drink soft drink, it's the same sort of thing where I am super hyper and then I immediately crash. But speaking of crashing, my game actually crashed right around this point. Just before I started putting the bookcases in, and I changed the colors of them, and then my game crashed, and I had to come back in, and I cut out what I did. It was basically just putting back everything that had gone missing in the crash. Um, and that was probably a good solid 20 minutes I cut out, but this video is still so long. Um, and I even wrote down a bunch of things to talk about so that I didn't run out of things to say. And I'm doing pretty good because so far I've only talked about 2 out of 7 of the things. And I kind of rambled a bit about random stuff too, which is good. In the sense of not sitting here umming and ahhing. So on this entry level here, to the left when you come in is a little laundromat. To the right is a maintenance room, I guess. So it's got a water heater, some electrical boxes. I put 6 in, one for each apartment and one for just the generic, oh, sorry, not the generic, the general building. And then it's got some generators as well. I think I even put a recycling machine in there, maybe. And at the back of this building, we have a like a communal study space, I guess. Um, that's all on that floor, and then sorry, like right when you walk in, there's some couches, and some plants and whatever. I wanted to soften it up a little bit because it does feel very harsh, very industrial. Um, and again, I just wanted to make it feel a little less intense. Maybe like the people who renovated this building, maybe it used to be some sort of industrial building, and this is the only bit that's like standing from it that lasted. Um, and they like kind of filled in all the extra doors and whatnot. So yeah, I wanted to try and soften it just a little bit in that entryway. Um, but you're not being confronted with this harsh um like it's just like this brick and concrete everywhere. So I added some like white furniture and some soft paintings and some plants and rugs and things like that. So yeah, hopefully it softened it down a bit. Um, but in some of the other apartments, I actually lean into the industrial vibe. And all of the apartments do feel a little bit sad. I was again kind of leaning into that because all of the not all of them, but quite a lot of the apartments and buildings I do are nice. Like the Planty build that I think the last video that I did, absolutely wonderful in my opinion. It's so soft and inviting and calm and very just very relaxed. Um, it it's just not what everybody likes, and I don't know. I feel like I sometimes should do some things differently, some things a bit more intensely, I guess. So yeah, even though I did try and soften it in some spots, I also was like, you know what, doesn't matter. Let's just have fun and lean into this in some areas. So yeah, like I said, we have the lone young gamer who lives here. We sort of have like a generic nice apartment on the same level as the gamer guy. Not really sure of the sort of person who lives there. Maybe someone who's lived there for a little bit and just collected some nice furniture along the way, but looking to move out into a bigger, better place, maybe, or um, not really investing in this apartment and the decor and things like that because they don't plan on being here forever. So yeah, it's a little generic, not as decorated and whatnot. And then we have on the next level, so that's the first level of apartments. The next one, which is the middle one, is one of them is like a very girly fashionista. Now, I'm not saying a woman lives here. Absolutely could be a dude, but it's very feminine, very uh pink and just complete opposite of what I'd like. I don't I sometimes I will try and speak English here, my apologies. I sometimes love to decorate in that sort of style despite the fact that I would be quite miserable in a very overly feminine space because I still enjoy furnishing it. I think it can be quite fun to do these sorts of things. I feel like these sorts of things, yeah, you can just, even if you wouldn't do it yourself or live there yourself, getting in and doing some of the things that you wouldn't normally do, you wouldn't normally um want or experience or know, it can be quite fun to explore that sort of stuff. It's the same as like these really grungy industrial type apartments as well. Like I love doing this sort of stuff. Um, I used to do them quite a lot. I think either at the start of this year or last year. Um, it just, I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I still enjoy it, but I haven't, what am I saying? I haven't like ever lived anywhere sort of like that. I mean, I guess living at uni kind of, but not really. So yeah, just definitely leaning heavily into that sort of vibe here. And again, yeah, I wouldn't normally do a very feminine. Oh, I've done some feminine things, but again, not really my thing, my style. And then on the same apartment, sorry, level as the girly fashionista, he is a planty artist. So I imagine the guy who lived here to be very much just all about his art and seeing art in real life and styling and designing things around it. And he's a bit of a rebel. I want to almost say he's a bit like Lila from Dexter, but not at all like Lila from Dexter because he's I'm not gonna describe her. In case you haven't seen it, I'm not gonna describe her, but anyone who has, I think you know kind of what I'm feeling. Um less kind of like Lila when you first meet her. Not Lila what's later episodes. Anyway, I also haven't seen the whole series of Dexter, but I've seen from what I've seen, the later episodes of what I've seen. Um Not like that. But anyway, the planty artist, he's kind of um yeah, just in his art, and he doesn't really think about feelings and emotions in terms of people feeling them, but like when you look at art and what you feel, that's kind of where he sees that sort of and he can kind of be a bit of a jerk sometimes when it comes to feelings. He doesn't really have a partner because he's not really interested in that. And if you're not interested, you're not interested, that's fine. But I guess some people, he's had to definitely learn to explain it from the start if he ever um gets with anybody, to be like, hey, I'm not looking at monogamy or being with you or anything like that. This is just fun or whatever. And people have to like really understand that, because people are like that in the real world. And I think, yeah, he's kind of like that. Very into his art, and whatever is conducive to his art will do. Um, but not in like a selfish manner. He's not a selfish guy. Sort of. I don't know. Again, absolutely not me at all. Not the way I live my life or anything. I'm barely an artist. I am honestly quite terrible at art, and I like that. I like that I'm bad because it means I can get better and learn and have fun and make weird, goofy things, and it's okay if it doesn't look good because I know I'm not good. And it means if things do look good, it's like a fun little reward. Um, so yeah, that's I'm also not really interested in living the life the way that this guy. No, each to their own. I'm absolutely not going to judge anyone for how they live their lives. Just not for me. But he's also very health conscious, which I am a little bit. Probably not as much as this guy. I mean, I just had Subway for lunch. I'm probably not all that healthy, but this guy's very much into like eating healthy. And the reason why he's got his art studio set up in his bedroom is because it means that he can basically wash his hands and get straight into bed and just go straight to sleep. So he's not like having to travel between the studio and whatever and making bad decisions for his health. He sees his bed, he goes to sleep. Um, which, I mean, same. If I am tired, I'm gonna go to bed. I am terrible at, like, if people want to host events at night, I'm like, how late is this gonna go? Am I expected to be there the whole time? I am terrible. Like I will do it. Don't get me wrong. Like absolutely do it. But I also have. I don't want to say purposely because I don't think this was intentional. But I've surrounded myself with people who don't necessarily like staying out really late at night, which is a blessing. Just absolute blessing that I have friends like that. Um, because it means that we all have our own little separate lives and we can go home and sleep at night. And not have to worry about getting grumpy and tired. I am so grumpy when I'm tired. I am a little unbearable. And I'm thankful that my friends have not really had to experience that. Was yeah, I'm worse than a toddler sometimes. Anyway, we are just about to finish up here on the first apartment. So this is kind of where I end stream. I've probably got another maybe minute worth of furnishing, maybe. I don't really remember. But yeah, he's I think this is I don't know if you can hear that, but that is thunder rolling in. And I'm so excited but also extremely nervous. I hate thunder, but I love storm. Um well if that's a storm, as soon as stream's finished, as soon as video's finished, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I do not go to the bathroom or shower while it's storming. It's very, very random, but I just don't want to be caught. Like, I don't want the lights to go out on me and be in, I guess, a vulnerable position like that. So, yeah, definitely, even if it doesn't actually, still gonna, just in case. Um, but no, back to the build for a second. Well, I say for a second, back to the build permanently. What I'm doing now with the mirrors in the wardrobes, I learnt that from Satch on Sims, who you guys probably know as a simmer here on YouTube. Um, he is a little critical, I say a lot critical of The Sims, which, I understand. Um, Sometimes I personally find it a little bit too much, uh, how critical he is, but I do also appreciate a breath of fresh, um, genuine in their feelings. But yeah, I learned that little tidbit from look, he recently did a video on uh build hacks, and most of them I've kind of learned as I go along from other builders and whatnot. Not to say that he hasn't come up with anything genuinely good to learn about. He absolutely has. And if you don't know much about building, absolutely recommend you watching it. But a lot of these things I was like, okay, F5, yep, cool, quarter tile with like and whatnot. Um I don't really remember all of the ones, but yeah, this was one of the ones that he did. He said he saw it on TikTok, I think. I could not tell you who he saw it from. I don't even know if he said who he saw it from, but I'm saying I saw it from him. But yeah, if you want to see that, you can definitely check. And I do it to all of the cabinets, built-in wardrobes, built-in wardrobes. That's what they're called in this townhouse. Sorry, not townhouse. In this apartment building. And from what he said, it should be, they both should work. They both should still be playable. I have not playtested it. If you know anything about me, I don't playtest at all, ever. I have done it maybe 3 times. I know for sure I've done it once with the next set of builds. Sorry, the next set of videos that are coming out. It's the one build, but it's going to be another multi-part series. Because that was for a collab and it needed to be, I think it was 80% playable, and I think it's 100% playable. I'm not positive. I know for sure that some of the things I was worried about do work. I play tested them, and I'm very proud of myself for playtesting. But yeah, I'm absolutely not playtesting this build. I'm so sorry for anyone who does want me to playtest, and gameplays and stuff like that. And again, I do try and take gameplays into account when I build. It's not all the time. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. Sometimes I completely forget about gameplay, but you can see in this apartment, I don't use the cabinet at the end there in the kitchen. I leave it completely blank, for gameplay purposes. I've no idea if those dining chairs are usable, but the couch should be. So yeah, it's just a bunch of random, like, I will in this circumstance, I won't in that circumstance. But that build hack, because I've been told that it is, I believe that it is, hoping that it is, and I incorporated it because there's a fun hack that I can use that works for gameplayers. I'll do it. I'll use it. Um, but yeah, I'm just apologizing to every game player out there. If you ever download my builds and you can't use them, that that is 100% my fault, and I'm very sorry. I do try and keep you guys into account, take you guys into account. Sorry. Um, it's just not very. I don't want to say it's not very common in the fact that I don't care. I do care. It's just because I'm solely a builder. It's all I think about. However, there is a possibility that I am going to be putting together a legacy challenge. And in order to do that, I'm going to kind of have to play the legacy challenge. And the only reason why I'm coming up with this legacy challenge is because I currently have a challenge called the A to Z challenge. It is a build and cast challenge where you build or cast stuff, so that it's each week you get a different letter. We're currently in week T. So yeah, this week you could do like a teen or a, like, this is for cast, like a teen or a who's someone who starts with I can't think of any person's name who starts with a T. But you could do like an animal that starts with a T, like a particular breed of cat or dog, or if you can somehow cast something that is not a cat or a dog. Um, I can't even think of anything again. A tabby cat. There you go. That's a T word. Um, yeah, it's cast, a build, or a room. It's completely up to you. There's no shells. There's no set prompts. There are prompts that you can choose from over on my Instagram, where I post like the details of the challenge. But the builds are taken in via Discord because Instagram eats it, but I'm thinking of changing it again next year. I might just do it by the gallery hashtag. So that, yeah, if you don't have Instagram or you don't have Discord, just do it by the gallery hashtag. And that way I can post it in more places and have more people see it, and see if they want to participate. I will also be doing a well, I say will. I'm also thinking about doing a competitive version where you have to compete each week. I'm still debating on that. I have not decided, but I'm definitely leaving it open ended at the moment. So I'll have a chat with some people who to see if they want to be a part of it. If they don't want to be a part of it, we'll see. And I don't know if I'll do an eliminating, like an elimination one, or if I will do. I don't know. It's very up in the air. Very, I don't know what I'm doing. But the just the normal challenge without any prompts, I guess, without any competition with it, I guess, is still something I'm going to be doing. So even if I do run a competition, there will be a non-competitive version so that people can take in however they please. Um, so definitely just keep an eye out for that. I will probably be talking more about it next year. So yeah, definitely keep your ear out. That. And hopefully, yeah, hopefully that's something we can do. 'Cause I'm very, very excited about it. I think um it's fun when challenges expand and get bigger and people take part and things like that. Um, and actually, at the moment, over on Twitch, I am working on my builds for next year. I do it in February in 26 days, which, let me tell you, is a nightmare and a half. Um, but yeah, we're already up to the letter I. So when I finished the ice cream build, we actually went and finished this build, this section of this build. So yeah, we're definitely making a lot of headway, and I'm choosing to do slightly smaller builds. Some of them are still quite big, but like the ice cream parlor, I think is on a 20 by 15 lot. So we're also picking a lot smaller ones as well, which is fantastic. Means I'm not going to be overwhelmed with footage and having to cut it down and long videos. So yeah, definitely very keen to share that with you guys. So that will be shared here in February, but if you want to see the builds done live, definitely head over to my Twitch. I think it's linked down below. It should be. If it's not, please yell at me. And I'll fix that because I'm slowly going around fixing things here and there as I go. So yeah, very, very keen about that. Just yeah, I just like getting in and fixing things up and you know, I was doing it here over on YouTube for a bit, working on like fixing this bit over here and that bit and my overlay, not overlays, my end screen and profile picture and blah 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 blah. I've even got like my editing process down pat a bit better, so now all the saves should be cut out. I say should, there's every possibility that there's still some caught up in here. It is a very long video. I've still got another 11 minutes to go, so you know, um, oh, this is the girly apartment that I was talking about. Sorry. I'm sometimes paying attention to stream and sometimes not. Well, not the stream, sorry, the video. I get all my words mixed up. I swear. Sometimes I feel like there's just a little worm in my head, and that's my one brain cell, is just this little worm. And I don't know about you, about how much you know about worms, but worms aren't particularly great at speaking English, from my understanding of how they work. In fact, they don't speak English at all. So yeah, just please ignore the worm when it's having a moment. It's trying its best. Um I don't know what I was talking about anymore. I think I've moved on to the plant sim. This is the plant artist sim, which I really enjoyed doing this build. So I hope you enjoyed it too because it was a lot more detailed than some of the other apartments. I feel like this guy's gonna live here forever. He doesn't care. Um, he loves living here. Um, Probably just because of the convenience of everything around and being close to public transport and the water and all that sort of jazz. But yeah, this is probably my favorite apartment of the bunch of them. Probably because it's the most decorated. I think that's the word I'm going for. Cluttered. Yeah, it's the most cluttered. Um, but after this build, we have two more to go. So one of them is going to be another. Actually, I think they're both sets of apartments. I called them something. They've given location. One of them is going to be a shop on the ground floor and some apartments above, and the other one's just called Last Townhouse. It's the last one, and I haven't figured it out. But funny thing is, I've actually started working on that one before I started working on. And then I realized I probably want to work on this one because I have a bit of a clearer idea of what I'm doing. I'm not as lost and confused. Um, so yeah, I went and worked on this one, which is fantastic. The last one, I really didn't like how it looked it was my least favorite out of them all, and now I'm kind of changing up the last two so that when I actually get into building them and whatnot, it's not as terrible. I don't feel as gross about it. And hopefully you guys don't feel as gross about it either. And then after those builds, I'm gonna dedicate quite a while to building some of my Pokemon builds for next year. So I don't know if I've officially announced this, but I've definitely spoken about it before. I am working on a build for every single Pokemon that there is. It's a massive, massive undertaking. There is 1025 current Pokemon that I need to work on. And so far I've done 7. But based on my calendar, pull it up. Based on my calendar, sorry, by the end of this month, I should have all of the builds for January done, and also almost all of them for February done. We'll be up to I have to keep looking, otherwise I'll never remember. Oh, this is January. This is 20. Up until the 16th of February, which will be absolutely fun. And then January. No, not January. December. That's the month. In December, I'll be working on the rest of February and getting March. So I'll be like a 12 months ahead. And hopefully, what I can do is really power through all of those builds and whatnot, so that again, if I want to take like a week off here or whatever, I absolutely can, because I'm 2.5 months ahead. And the good thing is I'm size restricting a lot of my builds, so all of the starters for sure are being restricted. The only time I'm allowed to go into anything that has a 50, okay, well, at least a 64 by 64 is 100% only for legendaries. That is a guarantee. And to use a lot that has a 50 in it, I have to not have used it recently. I don't know what recently is, but I'll know what that means. I did already slip up with that rule of not having a 50 in it, because the starters weren't allowed to have a 50 in the size. And one of them I did, but to be fair, I think that build was done really, really quickly. It's sort of a mostly outdoor lot, and I think it's justifiable. I think I can justify having used it, and I think that's kind of like the goal is I need to be able to justify the use of such a big lot. And in this case, because it didn't take me long, I don't know what you guys would classify as long, but because it didn't classify, I don't classify it as taking me long, and most of it was an exterior, and I didn't have all these levels and whatnot to furnish like I do in this one. I feel like it was justifiable to use that lot. I don't really want to say what it was just yet, because I kind of want to keep them as surprises. But I think it was the, oh god, no, goodness, I don't know what I'm just saying. My brain, my words, English, man. I apologize to anyone who wants to a coherent human being. That is not me. It was the Venusaur build. Yes, Venusaur build, which I am really, really with. Some of them I feel a bit about, but I'm also doing things I haven't really done before, so maybe you guys will like it. Because I've just done something different than maybe I just don't. So, very questionable that I don't. Yeah, it's kind of interesting and fun to see all of the builds kind of I don't want to say pile up. Like all of the footage coming in and building ups and the back and what, quite exciting, and I feel very accomplished. I know in previous videos I've talked about how like I'm just building and I'm not actually editing the photos and the videos and not pre-uploading them, and I don't feel as accomplished, but I feel accomplished now because I am getting quite a lot done. And I think I was saying that because I was starting a lot of builds but not finishing them, but now I'm actually getting a lot of builds finished. Um, maybe not in the time schedule I want it, because this is almost 20, we're almost 20 minutes past the time I wanted to have this video live. So yeah, this one will be a tad bit late, but because I'm getting ahead in all the other ones, they're absolutely not going to be, which is fantastic. I'm very, very proud of that. We'll see how long this can go for, because knowing me, I probably will get a little late with some of these things. And yeah, it's just kind of working along over here, getting our things done, working away. And we're getting close to the end of this video, which is absolutely amazing. We are just working on the last apartment now, which is the industrial styled loft. Oh, not a loft, the industrial styled apartment, sorry. The main bedroom in this loft, so it's a 2-bedroom, I keep calling it a loft, this 2-bedroom apartment, it has a very luxe feel to it, whereas the second bedroom is still very industrial. In fact, I used a lot of the industrial kit. I don't know what the industrial something or other kit. So yeah, it's very interesting that I kind of mixed the two of those. I could have lent more into the industrial side or the luxury side, but I kind of just wanted to have this one luxury bedroom that didn't really fit um, with the rest of the build. And even though it is the main bedroom, the rest of the apartment is styled after the smaller bedroom, which I think is interesting. Sorry if you just heard some good noises. But yeah, you can see this one's kind of luxury. I forgot to move the light, but I'm kind of not mad that I did, because it kind of feels like in this sort of build it would be off like that, off-centered. Oh, you're right. That just kicked. That's fine. I had to do. Anyway, we're getting close to the end of this, pulling together last minute furnishing. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this build and my rambling on about absolute nonsense, definitely let me know. And if you're excited or keen to see future builds or what I do with the rest of this build, let me know how to, because I'm very excited for it as well. But yeah, we're just gonna wrap it up real quick. I'm just putting honest with you guys. But yeah, I just want to say thank you guys so much for hanging this very long and rambly video, especially if you made it this far. I am the worst person in the world to listen. I get it. So you making it towards the end, I appreciate it majorly, and I just much for being here, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next video in a handful of days. But until then, bye guys.